not particularly cold, but definitely much less humid. There's a bit of a nip in the air this morning. Everybody ready to start their day? Can we call it the weekend yet? It's Thursday. It's the last day of meteorological summertime, August 31st. And we have cold air advection right on time. Out the door, Weather and More with T-Rex and Steve and TK. Gonna hide from the wind. Steve doesn't know how to close the door, so I gotta back up, close the door. Fascinating 24 hours to say the least. Tracking 2 hurricanes and then a tropical storm. Welcome to the club, Jose, way out there, not long for this world. And there's a new red X way out off of Africa. More on that later. Immediately, Mount Washington got down to 30 degrees this morning, or 31 degrees, with the first trace of snow of the season. Interesting, the last time there was a cold front this cold or powerful relative to the season was the last day of August, last day of July, and the first day of August. There were 2 of them that week. Also out of the gate, the low pressure system that we thought was going to be 995, at least exiting Maine late yesterday, is in fact 982 over the Labrador Sea this morning. That is a super storm. The pressure is deeper in that than it is in tropical storm now, Idalia on the coast of South Carolina. However, Franklin is still a beast at 965 millibars, ruling the Atlantic Ocean. And the Franklin swell did wrap Cape Cod. What that means is that the deep ocean long period swell did make it into the Boston buoy this morning at 3 feet 15 seconds. May not be big, but it's powerful. But unfortunately, the wind is more powerful and it's pretty much pulverizing the swell. So there's not really good surf. Maybe coastal Rhode Island where it goes offshore. South side of Nantucket where it's gusting to 30. That can't be too fun. And that's one of the reasons I'm standing right here, is because it's so windy this morning. Cold air advection from Canada, and it went all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico with near record cold air from Ontario all the way down to Louisiana and even Texas. It's called a high amplitude flow, and it's extreme weather, but weather is a balance of the extremes, and it's going to be extremely beautiful here for the next few days as this high pressure system comes over us and stalls out, and it's going to turn from a chilly high pressure system into a warm high pressure system. So near 70 today and then probably cracking 70 tomorrow, much less windy. And when the high goes right over us on Saturday, very little wind with a sea breeze developing and temperatures seasonable, I would say, in the low to mid 70s. And then if we can get that high to go off to our south Labor Day into next week, then we would be talking warm to hot. But just has been the case pretty much since June. Every time it looked like it was going to be hot next week, Mother Nature pulled a fast one on us, and instead of having a southwest wind with warm air moving into Boston from the southwest, we ended up with a wind from the east and the northeast. And guess what? The guidance is trying to pull that trick again, but with a special extra trick. Want to see the trick? There's Franklin going out. And then let's watch Idalia going out. Oh, yesterday, 2 days ago, it wanted to recurve back towards the mid-Atlantic. Yesterday, it kind of wanted to recurve toward Florida. Oh, now Idalia wants to recurve to Nantucket. Are you kidding me? Next Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, that's a major monkey wrench in the potential heat for next week. It just does not get hot when wind is from the northeast. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen because this has been a moving target. In 3 days, it's been in 3 huge different zones. How's it going out there, Rex? So, not etched in stone at all. It's still a huge wild card, the future of Idalia. But anyhow, that would bring the surf back, and it would also keep the temperatures from going up. And that's reflected in the 14-day Boston temperature. This is Euro guidance. So when you see, there we go, into the 80s early next week, and then all of a sudden, Wednesday, Thursday, raindrops and 70s. That is because the forecast for Idalia has changed. And it will probably change again and again. But that doesn't spoil what's supposed to happen the next 3 days. Maybe some leftover surf for us on the National Seashore, at least now with the new Idalia track being further north. Let's look at the spaghetti plot for Idalia. The black line is the one that the forecasters go with, but there's one blue line there. Where does that go? Oh, right through the Cape Cod Canal, but certainly a huge change to the 24-hour forecast, and it kind of fits what's been happening all summer. Every time it looks like we're going to go for 90, somehow we end up with an east wind. So, not shocked at that. I haven't showed you the garden in a while. It's really going by fast now all of a sudden. And the tomatoes are looking gorgeous, don't they, in the sun? How much rain with that front yesterday? 0.03 after the morning observation. And remember, a week ago I showed you these leaves. They were all big and beautiful. Well, they're hanging on, old guy. That pumpkin's probably done getting big. And this one too. Oh, what are these things? What are these things on the pumpkin? I think these pumpkins may come inside just to save them. Or, yeah, because I've never really had pumpkins this big in my garden before. Over a foot long. And then I got the cute little pumpkins too going on. The animals are fighting the tomatoes. I was gonna try and stake this guy up, but I just never got to it. And I got these cute little pumpkins coming. So you never know what's gonna come out of your compost when you put the seeds in. And the animals have discovered that beautiful big beef. Oh, doesn't that taste good, Mr. Bunny Rabbit, or whoever is eating that? Lots of bunnies. And then look at this sprawling thing here. This is one of those compost tomatoes that may or may not give me some fruits, but it's always fun. I let them go. Beautiful sky. Yesterday watching the sky was tremendous. I made some extra time lapses just because I could. It was so sticky, so humid yesterday, and then when that front came through, it all happened so fast. So I'll share with you that, and as the sun was going down, it was so beautiful. I took a picture, and I asked those on Twitter that could see the east to share your moon shots with me, and you did not disappoint. Say, JB in Saybrook, Connecticut. Thank you. Gorgeous. Tom Woods, I think in New York. Tom says, we had some moon dogs. And those clouds were from the northern edge of the cirrus outflow from Idalia. Yes, Tom, right. Can't really go into what sun dogs are, or moon dogs right now. What are you looking at? Look at that. What are you staring at? Is there a rabbit over there or something? I don't see anything. And then I would say, Dave in Bangor, Maine. I would have to call this the win because after all, it's no longer Twitter, it's X. And Dave got the X in the sky. And I had an excellent sunset and really loving this weather and happy that we're getting a break. Even though it's an extreme pattern, we're in the extreme good part of the weather block for now. Enjoy your Thursday. Guess where we're going to be the next several days. We'll see you out the door, weather and more again tomorrow after a bunch of fun and more from today. Steve, look at the camera. You're a superstar. Everyone loves you, Steve. Come on. Thanks. Rex was just barking. I thought the cat was in the box. I'm like, okay, you can stop barking now. Well, it wasn't the cat in the box, was it, Rex? Sorry. You can bark again. It was our friends from up on the hill. Let's see. That's the family. There were about 12 poults. How are they doing now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 survivors. Who knows if it's the same family? Just a fascinating sky day here over Quincy and Boston on the Fore River in Weymouth. Multiple layers of cloudiness with breaks of blue sky, still very sticky. In the foreground, a very dark bottom cumulus cloud as we have the upper level trough going right over us right now. The same one that's going to sweep Franklin out to sea, but may leave Idalia behind. So Idalia is still a wild card, even though confidence is high in a nice weekend. So why don't we do a little time lapse here, coming on 4 o'clock in the afternoon, of that building cumulus cloud, but you can tell by the distinct bottom, there's no rain coming out of it right now. So I think the rain is done. Underachiever here at my yard. No complaints. I've had plenty of rain this season. I'll let this roll for a few minutes. We'll do a time lapse. Close to 10 minutes. condensed down into, I don't know, probably about 30 seconds. It's all happening between 3:30 and 4 o'clock on August 30th. View over Boston. Viewers seem to really like Steve. Sideways table down the lawn. Yep, getting ready to do a mow of the back nine. It's thick. Just about 6 o'clock. Looks like race time. Plenty of blue sky, but still some really interesting cumulus clouds. Wind from the west now, just starting to pick up. So looks like the wind is going to be increasing as the sailboat race goes on. Very interesting. This is nice. Looks like the forecast from yesterday morning for the wind today worked out better than the forecast from this morning. Yesterday I had a gut feeling the wind was going to pick up by now, but the guidance said otherwise. And now here it is. Wind picking up from west to northwest. Barometer on the rise. From high to low pressure. That's where the air is going. Changing by the second. When the sailors left their dock or mooring, it was probably light from the west-southwest. Now it's 10 to 15 anyway. Air is getting drier by the second. And it looks like there's a race happening. I don't see you out there, Kevin. Wow, wow, wow. So many things to say wow about. This nice breeze, the last of the cumulus going off, intercepting the moonrise, the blue moon, super blue because it's only 225,000 miles away and the sky is blue. This evening, as the nice refreshing air comes in from Canada, wow to the Euro for getting this hurricane going into the Big Bend of Florida from 10 days ago, and for saying that we were going to have a nice Labor Day weekend. That's still on, right? As far as I know. And wow for this breeze picking up just in time for the Twilight series. It's the twilight of the Twilight series as the season is ending. Sailboat race off a hull, which I really cannot see from here, and I also cannot see the moonrise because it's behind Hingham. If you have a view of the moonrise, let us know. Perhaps you can get a discount on our time-lapse web camera and weather system and software. Gorgeous. Second to last sunset of August 2023. Anyone seen Steve? I don't know where he is. Reward for time-lapse of the moonrise and a return of Steve. Is that him over there? Watching the sunset? You got your back to the sunset. How can you see the sunset? Well, this is where all the critters are. Don't you even think about taking off. That's more like it. What's that little grin? What is that grin? All right, we found Steve. Looks like he's got a tick on him. And some black. Where have you been? Nope, not a tick. Something. Can we call it a day? Look, he's all huffy and puffy. Did you have an encounter? Perhaps if he could not run away, we'd be all set. He's an indoor cat that loves the outdoors. Anyhow, all good. Wild goose chase every day. Good night, everybody. No, I can't see the moonrise, but people facing east maybe can't see this. So I'll settle. Thanks for sticking with us here. And thank you, Jeffrey, for also sharing another sunset on Fallon's Pond in South Venice. It's just gorgeous. Wow. How does that happen? Well, Tim, it's the Rayleigh scattering of the blue light has been diminished because the sun angle is so low, so all that's left is the slower orange and reds, which reflect off the clouds after the sun goes over the horizon. It's quite simple. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. The moon is right over there.